Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on. Or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Blowing ad budget on metrics that look great till the CFO sees them. That's bull spend. And marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
I remember telling my boss, it'll be good for the brand, when leads were slow. Yeah, it wasn't.
Cut the bull spend. LinkedIn lets you target by company, job title, and more. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating. Year after year through the rain and the sun, learning that faith is what makes us strong.
The kick is up, and the kick is good afternoon, and welcome back to the Superfan Diaries. I'm your host, J.R. Green, recording from our studios on Broadway in downtown Nash, Vegas, bringing you the biggest sports, the biggest moments, and the biggest fans, celebrating passionate sports figures and their unique stories. Yes, legends. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share your own game day traditions or stories online. Today, we're doing something a little different. Yep, today isn't just about sports. It's about us. Because long before stadiums were built, long before jerseys were worn, humans were already fans. Today, we're going all the way back to the very first fans. Before there were stadiums, before there were jerseys, before crowds roared beneath the bright lights, there was a fire. And around that fire, humans gathered, not just to survive, but to belong. Today, I want to take you on a journey. I know you guys are sitting in the car, waiting at the airport, trying to find something fun to do, but we're going to go on a journey. And we're going to go through not just through sports history, but through human history. Because fandom didn't start with football. I know. Many of you are out there. Of course it did. No, it actually didn't. And guess what? It didn't start with soccer either, or baseball. Fandom is tens of thousands of years old. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Imagine stepping into a cave 20,000 years ago, or more specifically, around 15,000, 17,000 BC. Like Lascaux Cave, discovered in 1940 and dated to roughly 17,000 years ago. I'm sure I'm totally mispronouncing that word. Lascaux. It's probably Lascaux Cave for all the historians listening. So I got it right because I know we have a lot of PhD and doctors listening. I think I got that right. Let us know if I didn't. But inside, there are over 600 painted animals and nearly 1,500 engravings. And here's what matters. People didn't just visit once. They came back, almost like turtles, again and again. Why? Because humans weren't just recording events. They were reliving them. So before ESPN, there were stone walls. Yes, think about it. That was their ESPN. Those caves, they may have held the world's first highlight reels. Think about that. There's a reason moments like that stay with us. As Aristotle once said, man is by nature a social animal. Even 17,000 years ago, we weren't just surviving alone. We were remembering together. So as tribes grew, identity became everything. And we can actually date that instinct at the Blombos Cave. Archaeologists found pigment tools dated to 100,000 to 75,000 years ago. That's some of the earliest evidence of humans using color symbolically, not for survival, for identity, for belonging. So humans marked themselves, body paint, feathers, symbols, uniforms, long before uniforms existed. The need to belong isn't modern, it's ancient. Socrates is often quoted as saying, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And where did that examination happen? Not alone, but in public, in conversation, in community, because identity has always been shaped together. And think about it like this. When did heroes actually create the fans? Fast forward thousands of years. Now we see something new emerge, the rise of the hero. Stories like David and Goliath, written down between the 10th and 6th centuries, but told long before that, which means entire communities gathered again and again to hear the same story. Are you not entertained? Sound familiar? That's replay culture. Underdog stories don't just entertain us, they unite us. And that pull towards shared stories, Plato understood it deeply. He wrote, "Those who tell the stories rule society." Think about that. Those who tell the stories rule society, because stories don't just inform us, they align us. And then there's Jesus Christ. Accounts describe gatherings of 5,000 people or more, and likely closer to 8,000 to 10,000 when families are included. People traveled miles, waited hours, just like we do today, climbed trees just to see. That's not curiosity, that's devotion. And devotion is fandom's oldest ancestor. All right, we're going to be coming back to dive a lot more into when heroes actually create the fans when we come back right after these messages.
Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings. Like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, granola, and bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
Started as a kid with a team to believe in. Every win and loss left my heart still beating.
All right, we're back on this fun, quick segment today. Let's try to get this in within 15 minutes, right? Let's talk about this. When heroes create the fans. Then came the moment everything scaled. That's right. You all hear it in business. For you guys all building businesses, you hear about we've got to scale the organization. EBITDA. If you don't know what EBIT is, you can take a quick look. But earnings before interest, taxes, and amortization. Basically, how do you make money? But it's also how do you scale? How do you make it to where it can grow? Well, let's go to one of the first big ones, the Colosseum. Construction began around 70 AD, and it opened in 80 AD. Capacity up to 65,000 people. Opening games lasted 100 days. That wasn't small. This was massive. And just think about all the movies we've seen. Huge spectacles, huge Academy Award. Russell Crowe with the quote I gave earlier. At the end of the day, this is when it all began to happen and people embraced it. They loved it. The gladiators. And let me tell you something. It was huge. But guess what? Fans weren't passive. Nope. We found Roman graffiti praised gladiators by name. Children owned the figurines. I think you could go back and look at the movie. I mean, Ridley Scott, I think he nailed it with some of the little characters are actually built and created. But a lot of those characters and the shields were literally symbols of these gladiators that so many people embraced and loved. And if you just watch the movie, I know it's totally fictional, entertaining, but there's an underdog story. It goes back to what we love about our own sports, about fandom. But think about those scenes when the little boy was like, here's the shield of the Spanish warrior. This is my favorite horse. They became fans of the horses. They became fans of the sword, of the actual character. Crowds picked favorites. Sound familiar? Even back then, leaders understood the power of the crowd. The Roman poet Juvenal summed it up in 2 words: bread and circuses. Let's think about that. Bread and circuses. Let's face it, we all love P.T. Barnum at heart. I know he may have been a controversial figure, but in the movie you get to see it. We love circuses. We love to be entertained. We want it. By the way, we mentally need it. And if we think about it, bread was the other piece, food. You've got to be able to have that. So one of the biggest pieces of this history of where we built this fandom is we do and we must. And what they did, the emperors knew it, keep people entertained and you keep them unified. Think about that. Wow. I mean, that's pretty remarkable because when thousands feel the same emotion at once, that's not just entertainment, that's power. And it's so rare. But all of us listening to the show that are super fans, we know it. We know what it feels like when 105,000, if you're a Tennessee fan, a Michigan fan, Ohio State, Penn State, these stadiums, Texas A&M, Texas, these stadiums that hold 100,000 or more, when that pick six happens and you see the home crowd, in that home crowd, obviously favoring the team that gets the pick six for the home team, you watch 100,000 fans scream, it is an earthquake. It shakes you. It moves you. And that's the power. So then where did all this go from the tribes to teammates? Well, as centuries passed, the arenas changed, but the wiring never did. By the 1400s, tournaments across England and France were drawing thousands. Knights wore colors of houses like House of Lancaster and House of York during the Wars of the Roses, 1455 to 1487. People chose sides. They identified. They belonged. By the 1800s, sports didn't create fandom. They organized it. The Football Association was formed in 1863, and crowds quickly grew into the tens of thousands. Think about that. And thinkers of the time noticed something deeper. Alexis de Tocqueville wrote in the 1830s, "The strength of free people resides in their ability to come together, not just politically, but emotionally, socially, as one." Here's what fascinates me the most about fandom, and I now love it. I've now interviewed, my goodness, over 50 super fans, athletes, billionaires, you name it, and each of you can feel the same thing. You usually don't choose your team. That's right, you usually don't. Your parents hand it down to you. Just like you all know my background. I used to work for Procter & Gamble. I learned that Tide, you usually use the detergent you grew up with. My mom used Tide. So guess what? I use Tide. Well, to be fair, I did get married. My wife uses Cheer, so we adopted and moved to Cheer because that's going to be how this works. But the reality is I still use Tide in college. But your parents hand it down. Your city will claim you. For many of these people that are moving all around the country and you move to a new city, by default, you're in many cases going to become a fan of the local city you move to. Obviously, you could come from a different town and you won't forget your roots. Think about this. I now live in Nashville. I do love the Titans because it's my local Tennessee team because I'm a huge, passionate Tennessee fan. And I love the Vols. But I haven't yet been able to pick up the Grizzlies. Of course, I'm going to cheer for them because they're a Tennessee team. But the reality is I don't get to go to very many Memphis Grizzlies because it's not here in Nashville. But I have quickly absorbed and loved the Predators, the Titans, the Sounds. You name these local groups, that's my team. Now, when you think about it, most of the time, and as you all know, I've been doing this for almost about 9 months now, think about all the fans you've heard on the show. Most grew up in the town with the team they now love, or watching their parents and, you know what I'll call that passion. They're attending that first Yankees or Red Sox game with their dad, and boom, they're a fan for life. But think about individuals like Clipper Darrell, who we interviewed. He became a fan of the team who was an underdog as he felt he was an underdog. The passion of that about a super fan is remarkable because it's difficult in my mind to be able to jump into a team that I haven't been embraced as a childhood, but it is possible. And suddenly, like all of these fans, you're part of something bigger than yourself. From centuries ago, people understood this pull. Edmund Burke wrote, "To love our country ought to be lovely." In other words, we are wired to attach ourselves to something greater. Well, because from body markings 100,000 years ago in these basically throughout history, think about those body markings over 100,000 years ago. They continue today. Cave walls 17,000 years ago. Hero stories thousands of years ago that we still talk, read, and praise about today. The arenas in 80 AD, Colosseum. stadiums in the 1800s. There's a straight line, not to sports, but it's to us. Because to be human is to belong, and to belong is to be a fan. I'm J.R. Green. This is the Superfan Diaries. And remember, if you make one person smile, you've had a great day. Make them laugh, even better.